Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is entitled Lark in a Cage. It was written by Noah Lloyd and Matt Ryan. Jeff Wilkins is our game master, and this is episode 4. Let's continue our journey into the darkness. Jeff?
Thanks, Tom. Just to remind everybody, this is also a play test, so things that we're doing now could possibly change on the rewrite, if there is a rewrite. So who remembers what we did last time? Because I have some...
Well, before we start, I should mention that Zane isn't able to be with us, so I am now playing both the father and the mother, and we're letting the mother sort of drift to the back since she's...
Okay. Tom, could you change your screen name? Just put first name like / Henrietta Sampson, right?
Yeah.
Then we have Saul, Virginia, and Louisa.
There we go.
So you guys pretty much traipsed around London. A little bit of a whirlwind tour here. You've got roped into looking into the mystery of the swapped out baby. I think it's clear that it was swapped out, right? I don't think anybody has doubts in that sense, right?
Right.
Okay. Basically the doctor confirmed that, I think, without any, there was the issue of the birthmark, especially. That was the main.
We've gone to the church.
Yep. So you started last episode. You start off in the morgue, and you were tasked with finding the doctor's partner, who had gone missing the night before, and he's basically really worried. He read the reports in the newspaper about the bodies washing up in the Thames, and you found yourselves down in the morgue and pretty much going through piles of dead bodies. So it was not pleasant at all.
And we found the body of Jojo, the dog-faced boy.
Yes. And
something like that.
Samson became rather upset when he realized that he was changing.
Right. You came back home at that point. You returned
the baby.
We
lied and said that it was really theirs.
Yep. Amelia pretty much wanted nothing to do with it, so she just kind of waved it off to Philip, so you gave the baby over to Philip. And then, Samson, you shared with Saul the ailments that you've been going through, and Saul suggested that you both go to the doctor. You did that on your own, I believe, right? Just the two of you went? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And then...
we very quickly left after that.
Yeah, and then I think at some point then you guys regrouped, and then that's when you headed off to the church, I think, right? Yep.
We confronted the vicar. We chased the
groundsman.
The groundsman. And we now have reason to believe that this Dr. Graves,
I believe it's pronounced.
Greaves is actually doing some sort of experiment. He's the one who may have attacked me.
Yes. So,
and the groundsman also told us about the kind of dog-faced creatures that lived under the cemetery.
And we could hear a baby crying.
No, not exactly. His name was Cartwright.
Bartholomew Cartwright.
Cartwright said that he heard the night before the sound of a baby.
Ah, that's right.
Which coincides with the kidnapping.
And I believe we were deciding whether or not we were going to go into the depths or go break into Dr. Graves' house.
Right, that's pretty much where we left it. I think so. That's the good scene setter. Is you're standing out. You know, the sun's pretty much going down now. It's maybe the sky is a little bit light, but you're standing now in an empty graveyard. You've got Cartwright in front of you. Samson, you did have your gun pulled on him, but you've relaxed your gun, so you're still holding the gun, but you're not pointing it at anyone. And that was kind of, you're right, Virginia. That's kind of where we left it off. It was, which direction do you guys want to go? Which direction do you want to head into?
Well, I think that it's a fool's errand to go down into the ground. There could be traps. There could be an ambush set. You say there's people living in there. I find that hard to believe.
I lean over to Father. Father, maybe we should go break into the doctor's house.
I'm for that. I want to find out what's happening to me.
I just don't know if we can trust Bartholomew.
Perhaps the answer to what's happening to you lies down there in those tunnels, though. Father, perhaps it's time you should turn and face the strange changes that have overcome you.
Alternatively, Louisa, the doctor may know how to cure Father, if he's there.
He does seem to be an expert in curious subterranean ailments. Perhaps this is linked. It does seem strange that he specializes in disorders that afflict minors, and here we are, poised at the mouth of these strange catacombs, as though it's all not two separate things, but all one and the same thing.
There's something that adds to all this that I should confess to you all. Whatever it is that's causing this rash on my arm, an injection of some sort, some chemical that's changing me, I am able to see extremely well in the dark.
My goodness.
I can see every detail around me right now, even in this dusky light. I imagine down in the caves I'd be able to see just as well.
A strange idea strikes me as he's talking about these changes. I'm kind of glancing to see if his teeth are looking any different.
They could be a little bit longer. Maybe it's your imagination. Maybe it's the dark, creepy graveyard entering your subconscious. It could be a little sharper, a little pointier.
That's my face.
Well, I agree with Father. I think we need to go and see this doctor. I think time may be running short on us.
Now, Henrietta, you were afraid that there was a child down here. Virginia, you said the same?
Yes, if the child that we took back to Amelia is not Samantha, then Samantha is somewhere. And if Bartholomew heard a baby cry the very night that Samantha was taken, it only stands to reason that it was Samantha he heard.
Yes, I agree. Here's, though, my final word on this. We don't know what lies down there, but we do know that there are answers in the doctor's house.
Then I think it's time we go.
We should go and demand answers or break in and find them out for ourselves.
I agree with you, Father.
Yes, time is of the essence.
So let's go. That's what we're going to do.
What do we do about Bartholomew? Does he need to be silenced?
His eyes go wide.
I think he's intimidated enough, probably. He seems fairly innocent to me.
Listen here, you blighter. Don't do anything. Well, we know where you are.
We could always make him come with. All we need is his hand upon the glass. He'll be just as guilty as we are.
My Virginia, you're a very devious mind in recent times.
I don't think we have time to worry about it. Just let the bastard go. Yours. You should be ashamed. But yeah, Henrietta says, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I work around men all day, and I just pick up terrible habits. I'm sorry. I'm not myself. It's been a long day. Can we just go break into this man's house?
Let's go.
You seem very, very excited to break into the house, my dear. Let's do it.
Well, look at the choices, Saul. We can either stand around a creepy graveyard, waiting for people to come from the depths of hell to come up and consume our bodies, or we can go break into a man's house. Our lives are completely different than they were just 8 hours ago.
This is true. So let's go. Let's hail a cab. Cabby! And let's head to where we think. Do we know the address, or do we just know the general area where the doctor is?
So if you remember last episode, you actually did visit the house.
Oh, okay.
You rang the doorbell or knocked on the door, and nobody answered. So It was a bit of a dead end. But so yes, you do know where he lives.
55 Blair Street, please.
Yes. Righto.
I still have
And
to
don't spare the horses.
Correct.
So
No animals were harmed in the making of this video.
yes, they were. All right. So that's where we're going.
Yeah. So we'll just do the diddle screen share screen shift. And you guys find your carriage pulling up in front of the doctor's house. By this time, it's probably about 7:00 p.m. There's people milling about in the street. It's not overly crowded. It's a fairly kind of not run down, but it's not the best part of town, although his house looks nicer than all the others around it.
Is there any lights on at all?
No, not. You mean his house? Yeah, no.
Yes, yeah.
Nope.
Well, let's go up there. I'll just march up there and knock with my cane. Pom, 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 pom.
Yeah, I follow behind Samson.
Yep. And after what seems like a long wait, no answer.
Well, then we have to figure out a way to break in.
After what seems like a long wait, there's no answer.
Meaning,
How does that work?
Meaning, it's you knock on the door and it's like
We wait for ages.
Like
and
it's
then
like forever, but it's really only been a few seconds.
Okay.
The normal time it takes for a servant to come to the door and open it, basically.
Yes.
35 seconds and go.
While the men are growing, while the men are growing impatient, I'm signaling to Virginia and Louisa to sneak round the back.
Louisa, you know how to pick locks, don't you?
I know nothing of the sort, Father. You're looking very effeminate today, Father. It's that bonnet.
You call me Father.
For some reason, Saul has picked up skills in locksmith to the quality of 50%, so I'm sure he could have a go if nobody else does.
Let's go around to the back and go in that way, where it's less noticeable.
I think it's darker back here. Let's slip around.
Doesn't seem so.
Darker in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's probably a gas light out front. So around back, there's not really much of a light source.
Am I seeing any low windows along the side that maybe I could just, as we walk by, I could kind of just glance for
Smash
motion?
it.
Or I'd hate to break into someone's house and the son of a gun be in there.
Well, let's just see if it's open.
Mm.
Not everybody locks all the windows. See if we can lift up some of the windows.
Mick, is there a certain British thing where you guys call the ground floor the first floor? Is that right?
Yes.
Other
No,
way
this is
around.
the ground floor.
No, we call it the ground floor
Ground floor on the
on
ground.
the ground
First floor.
instead of first.
First, second, third.
Ground.
Very unlikely that there's a fourth floor. You'd have to be very rich to have a fourth floor.
And then under the ground floor would be the basement.
Yeah.
It'd be the basement or the cellar if there's no windows.
Okay.
And then at the top of the house, you would have usually a loft. Most houses don't have an attic. And that's the same distinction as well. A loft has no windows. An attic does. Unless it's a loft conversion, then it's a room with windows, but it's not a loft anymore. It's a bedroom.
Mick's about to screen share that for us.
And then everyone who's out goes in, and the team that's in goes out. Would you like me to explain the offside rule to you?
You'll be going out the attic window shortly.
Defenestration.
Wait, didn't we just establish there's no windows in the attic? There's windows in
We seem to
Yeah, I don't know the proper name, so
derailed the game. It's about this time during a game, I like to have a pot noodle. It's a lovely snack. It's delicious.
first invented in Victorian England.
It was by the Earl of Pot Noodle, after whom it is named.
So we'll say there's like a little short set of stairs going up to the back door. There's a window pretty much right next to it. And then there's another window a little bit further away, but that one is a little bit harder to get to. There's no easy, it's raised up off the ground a little bit.
There's no basement, no kind of all-base basement or anything like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tried knocking at the tradesman's entrance, just on the off chance that the servants might be in, but they may not have heard us. Or if the servants are in and the master of the house is out, they might not have bothered answering the door. He might have said, "I will be gone for some time."
Well, let's just break in. Saul, try your hands at picking the lock.
Hold on a minute. I'll try my pen knife here. Oh, quality. Hear that click?
Very good. Let me look in first, because I can see in the dark, apparently.
Saul gives Virginia a wee wink after he does that. Like, I'm Flash Harry,
Do I see anything interesting right inside the door?
No, not really. It's a dark kitchen. Pretty much what you would expect.
All right. Kitchen. So I open up the door and step inside. Do I smell anything?
Nothing in particular.
I think perhaps, Father, with your newfound abilities as some form of noctalope, that you should take the lead.
Yes, quite. And I've got my cane, my sword cane.
Okay.
But right now I'm holding it in such a way that if something comes at me, I'll just whack it with the cane.
You haven't actually drawn it yet.
I haven't drawn it. I'm holding it like this.
Okay. Yeah, all's quiet.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can find lights or lights and gas lights.
We'll say there's a small kerosene lamp.
Okay.
There. Little box of matches right next to it.
All right, let's light this. Oh.
Yeah, so now that hurts your eyes, but now the rest of the group can see.
Well, I'll move farther away from the light into the darkness a little bit, and I'll use whatever I can to see.
Father, you go into the darkness where you belong.
Yes. I'll hang around in the into the darkness. All right, let's go.
Father, do you see any dark stairways down, or any?
Is there usually a door going down into a basement, like under the stairs? Let's check over here.
So let me see if I can just give you the brief. There's the parlor. There's the kitchen that you're standing in, that you entered in. There's a small bathroom. Could I ask you all to do a spot hidden?
Oh, 8.
Ooh. Oh, 7.
Wow.
Show off.
I am spot hidden in the light, and you're in the dark.
There you go.
24, which is still a hard. I mean, it might not be as good as anyone else's, but I was quite pleased with it.
Virginia, did you see it?
I didn't see anything. I had a 55 out of a 50. Even in the metric system, I believe that's a fail.
She's far too busy.
That's what the French have, isn't it? The metric system.
It's a
gram.
It's a 10-based numbering system, from what I hear. I really am not very well versed. I just know that I didn't see anything.
Well, it was invented in Paris by Le Comte de Kilogramme.
There's because you kind of asked this. I mean, since we've played in a couple Cthulhu games before, Tom, I'm gonna think that this is where you were headed with that question. So you didn't necessarily smell anything like rotten food or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But upon looking around the kitchen, you notice that the cupboards are mostly bare. There's a lot of things that are considered like non-perishable. So like there's canned fish, tea bags, or loose tea, I guess. Things that generally packaged biscuits, things that generally would not go bad over a period of time.
Okay. But no perishable food.
Right.
Well, there really wouldn't be. The refrigeration's not that good at this time. Ice boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there's not even anything sort of like that in the pantry.
Right. Yep.
If anything, there would be dry food like rice and stuff like that.
Yep.
Is there any bread?
No.
Perhaps this chap doesn't stay here very often.
Or he hasn't been here for a while.
Saul, with your...
going to run. Can I just run my finger along the top of one of the shelves?
Dust. Yeah.
Is there any dust?
Yep. Not the cleanest person.
Either he's not here very often, or he has a rather poor quality cleaner.
There is one other way to check and see if he's been here. Can I go look in his loo?
Sure.
The water will evaporate out if he's not been here in a very long time.
Oh, right, I see.
That's really
smart. Going to go and carry out a
And believe it or not, I just thought of that sitting right here. And I'm so proud of myself right now that not only did I get to put a potty joke in here, but I also got to say loo, and it made scientific sense. That's the trifecta. My life is now complete. All hail Virginia Kale. And I wink back at Saul.
I'd be curious to know, now this is just a technical thing, but I'd be curious to know if the French style of toilet is popular in England at this time, or is it still just basically a porcelain hole in the floor?
I think it would still be well, there would be an outside toilet, and possibly there might be an indoor one if he's very harsh, but
the Turkish style, or
there would be a no, it would just be like a wooden seat. The box with a wooden seat on it, and the S bend. But there would still be a chamber pot.
Oh, okay.
Because you wouldn't want to get up in the middle of the night and go wandering around the house in your undergarments, in your unmentionables.
Modern plumbing systems feature.
Instead.
Sorry. Modern plumbing systems feature invention of water closet. Water closet was invented from 1900 to 1932.
Okay.
So you're about 5 years too soon.
I had one moment. And you've all, every one of you have killed it with your historical facts.
Well, you could still go and sniff his chamber pot to see whether it had been recently cleansed.
It's not nearly as glamorous as what I said.
But whether it was just bone dry and dusty.
Dear Virginia, in 5 years' time, you'll become known as the toilet detective.
The lady with the S
Well,
Lady in the loo.
does have a nice ring to it.
Okay, so do we see anything else in this area?
Well, let me get back to Saul's good roll. He spots on the parlor on the wall. There's a nice framed photo of the Hudson Tunnel,
which was invented by the businessman, Mr. Hudson Tunnel.
Nothing in particular on the picture, just the actual tunnel itself.
Yep.
Isn't that where all the bodies are being found? Is around that Hudson Tunnel?
See, I was wondering if I was throwing you off with that. So just for clarification, Hudson Tunnel is the one that's in New York. The ones in London in regards to...
Well, okay, it makes sense because he studies the pressure, the air pressure problems that miners have. And so maybe this is where he started in New York with the Hudson Tunnel, studying those miners there. And now he's doing it again here. I'm going to move ahead of them into the darkness and just start looking around the other rooms.
Okay. On the first floor, you mean? Or
Mostly I want to make sure there's nobody hiding in the shadows that's going to jump out at us.
Okay. Yep. It seems all quiet. Nobody's hiding in the shadows.
I don't think anybody's here.
Sorry, I meant ground floor, not first floor.
Okay.
Is there first floor stairs that lead to such?
Yes.
Let's ascend.
Could you lead us up since you can see in the dark?
Yeah, I'll just immediately go up. I actually, at this point, I think there's nobody here. We haven't heard a squeak or a floorboard or anything. So, but I'll do a quick sweep. I'll just go to each room and look inside and see if there's somebody hiding in there or asleep or dead.
There is a there's a small like linen closet sort of thing, small closet, and then there's a one bedroom.
Okay. As I look inside, there's nobody there.
Yeah, the door's open so you can look in. Looks empty.
There's nobody here.
On the ground floor, is there a like a consulting room or anything like that?
No, there's not.
So this is just where he lived.
Is the linen closet suitably boring?
Yes.
There's no panels in the back of the linen closet?
Correct.
No journals or books or anything that he was writing in?
There is a small room that looks like it's been turned into a makeshift small library.
I guess I should go down and grab the lantern and bring it up. It's a kerosene lantern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm going to gently walk downstairs as not to fall, grab the lantern and bring it back up so that now the only light is up there with it. Sorry, Father. Sorry, it's my fault. I am 100% sorry for that. I am very sorry.
There's books here.
I'm trying to shade the light.
It's
Look
okay.
away. Look away. I lower the lamp as much as possible, but still have light. Is that better?
It's fine. What are these books? See if we can find any notes. What he's been doing to me. What they might want with a baby.
I'm going to ask anybody looking for the books to do a library roll, please. It is a small bookcase, so it's just a single.
45 on 50. I passed. I can look through the library.
Yes, they are indeed books.
Out of 50, blimey.
Pass here as well.
I got a hard pass.
Okay. I love asking you guys to roll, and you guys get all these great rolls out ahead of time when they don't really matter. There's a bunch of books, but it's noticeable there's a marked absence of any sort of medical texts.
Do we have the right house?
There is another set of stairs going up.
The second floor.
Let us ascend once again.
Probably just where his char lady lives.
If anybody wants to waste another good roll, you can do a spot hidden.
I will do that.
Oh my
Throw
god!
away my roll.
2.
You got a 2?
I wasted a really good roll.
Oh,
I'm not going to believe this. No. I also just rolled a 2.
I failed. I got a 65.
Oh, we're getting bad.
We should hold that lantern still. I can't see a thing.
I wasn't going to roll, but I'm going to try and get a 2 now. An 82.
Virginia and Samson, you notice that in this bedroom, there are a bunch of like muddy footprints on the floor.
Look here.
Are those wet still?
The dry mud or wet?
Dry mud, yeah.
It's dry.
Dear family, I'm getting this creeping suspicion that somehow this man, as we think, might be involved with this situation, that we've come to his house and he's gone to the caverns under the graveyard, if they exist.
Well, perhaps. Let's check upstairs before we jump to any conclusions. Somebody's been here. Boots, shoes. What's the shape of the footprints?
Where do they lead to?
They come and go out into the hallway, and then kind of like, some of them are obviously still going down the stairs to the hallway, but mostly around the just in the bedroom mostly.
And they're shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's check upstairs. One last place.
Okay.
So I'll lead the way with the
Okay.
lamp.
Same as before. Yep. So you go upstairs. There is another bedroom. There's a small bathroom again. We'll just say it holds the chamber pot. There's a wardrobe, a bureau, a nightstand, and a bed.
Check for journals or anything like in the nightstand or.
Do a spot hidden.
Okay. 97. So much for my good rolls.
It's worked. Suddenly. No, I'm just kidding.
I got confused about what we were playing, and I was almost going to say I'll check for traps.
Yeah, we've got night vision going on. Anybody got a potion on them?
Hang on,
Well, if anybody wants to.
This strangely large sack that I have.
Father, cover your eyes.
Yes, let's have a look, dear.
I walk into the bedroom. I turn the lamp on up a good amount so it can see everything.
Thank
Okay.
you, dear.
Do you want to do a spot hidden?
I'd love to.
Does the lamp getting turned up give us an extra 18% on our spot hidden?
31.
17%.
50.
Yay.
Pass. 31 on 50.
Okay. So there's a couple things you notice. First of all, it's rather bare bones in here. You kind of thought that being a doctor and with the outside of the house kind of looking nice and all, that there would be more here, but it's rather sparse and bare. There's a single spare suit. There's a winter overcoat in the wardrobe, a single pair of socks in the bureau. None of these really relate to you, the fact that this is a very fashionable man.
Is there only one suit?
Yep.
Can I check the pockets?
Sure. Nothing of interest.
What is that up to?
With your spot hidden, you kind of catches the light. There's a photograph on the nightstand, and there's a picture of a young man, probably in his mid-30s, and he's standing there with another younger man, probably in his mid-20s or so.
Do we recognize them at all from another doctor that we may have visited earlier in the day? Could it be Dr. Foxwell and Dr. Oh, we don't know what Dr. Graves looks like, but do either one of them look similar to Dr. Foxwell?
I'm going to ask you for a knowledge roll.
85.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like my time has passed also. Splendid. That's a
Virginia, show me that photograph. I may recognize somebody there with that roll.
What are you all looking at?
There's a photograph here, Louis. Says two.
Everybody come round
Young men.
and see this photograph.
Everyone come around except Father, because it'll burn his retinas.
Well, I adore photographs. I'm so taken with modern technology. But I don't know anyone in that photograph, though. It's very blurry.
It is.
I was intelligent enough to guess. Dear GM.
Oh, were we making an intelligence roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were doing a spot hidden. In which, yes, I've passed then.
Just a regular?
Yes.
Not good enough. With apologies.
Mm.
What was your question there, Saul?
I was just saying I was intelligent enough to, but it wasn't. It was just a normal pass.
Okay.
Well, since nobody knows who it
Strangely
is,
familiar.
I'm going to slide it out of the frame and see if anything's written on the back.
You're turning into the detective, Virginia.
Virginia.
You've been reading the Strand magazine again.
I've had a bad day, Saul. I've had a bad day, and it's affecting my brain. That's all. And it's making me a little bit peculiar, only because that seemed like a right word to say at the time. I just feel funny. I want to see things. Let's see them.
There's a small thin pencil scroll on the back of the photograph. It says Wainwright Greaves and Peter Wegg, 1852.
If I were to look at it again, would it say the same thing out loud so I could write that down, please?
His first name is Wainwright Greaves.
Yep. And Peter Wegg. W-E-G-G. 1852.
Is there any sense of where the photograph's taken, or is it just really the two of them?
Yeah, it's very nondescript.
Does 1852 historically ring a bell at all?
It does not.
Okay.
Although, you know what? I'm going to ask, is Henrietta with you?
Yeah, she's standing behind me.
Dutifully.
Have Henrietta do a knowledge roll.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, just roll anyway. I'm just curious what you get.
Well, I got a 16.
Okay, yeah.
Henrietta hasn't wasted all of her good rolls, apparently.
I could just blurt it out, but I'm curious, do you by any chance have your character sheet handy with your backstory?
For Henrietta?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have her backstory.
I might have just put that in an email then.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, we'll continue. I'll send you a message shortly.
Okay. Oh, I know. That's what she'll say. I'm helpful.
You know what? No, this doesn't make sense. Could Virginia and Louisa each do a knowledge roll?
That's a 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
I probably should not have had you guys roll for this, especially Henrietta.
No, I failed.
I wanted to, you know, like if you see somebody in the mall that you weren't expecting to see, like maybe a coworker that you generally wouldn't recognize them because they're like out of place as to what you're doing at the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was imagining this playing out. So let me just see if I can find this real quick. Henrietta Porter. When Henrietta was 10 years old, she was still Henrietta Wake. Her older brother Peter disappeared. This childhood trauma has left its mark on Henrietta. She still sees his face in crowds and is secretly happy that she never gave birth to a son, lest he took on much a look like Peter.
My God, that says Peter. That's my brother, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
My brother?
Mother, you said Uncle Pete disappeared a long time ago.
What year did he disappear?
You're going to make me do the math. He's in his mid-20s in the photograph. He disappeared when he was around 10. Photograph was 1852.
And as I stare at the picture, the more I stare at it, the more it really looks like Peter.
Mm-hmm. You can see the resemblance.
Not just a coincidence. My God, how is it possible? Peter disappeared when he was 10, but that's definitely him. Sanity roll?
Sure.
This is where Henrietta runs screaming out to the darkness and we never see her. 75, she did not pass.
You can do what you feel.
All right. She took, that would be pretty shocking. I'm going to say she took 3 points of damage.
Yeah, it would certainly raise tons of questions.
Yeah. And she's with this vicious, horrible, nasty doctor that we're looking for. I'm shaken to the bone. I don't know what to say. Samson? He's like, it's all right, dear.
Mother, if he's alive then, maybe he's alive now.
Oh, maybe, but we won't even know who he is anymore. It's been, last I saw him, he was 10. How old was I? Am I older than him or younger than him?
You're younger.
I was like 7 when last I saw him. I doubt that he would even recognize me.
But you recognize him, Mother, so he'll be able to recognize you. The family doesn't break apart and magically forget each other. He will remember. There's a chance.
But my mother and father had many pictures of of Peter, and he wouldn't have any pictures of me.
We've got to find this Dr. Graves.
I don't know what to do. Yes, I agree. We have to find Greaves.
Saul and Louisa, could you each do a knowledge roll?
Failed.
I got a 9 out of 50. That's an extreme.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to message you something.
At last.
Before we leave, we have to check the basement or cellar if there is any such thing.
Father, what's wrong with his mouth?
Who, mine?
No, your brother, Uncle Peter in the picture. Is it just the way the photograph's taken? Looks like there's something odd about his smile.
Is he, Henrietta's like, is he having the look that we're now seeing in Father, in my husband?
I'm going to ask Louisa that, and don't ask me that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. What do you think?
Well, it looks a little too wide, and it reminds me of something. It reminds me, I think it. Does it not remind you a little of that man who attacked our carriage?
Do you think? Well, did I ever get a good look at him, or was it just Saul who got a good look at him?
That's a good question. I think you.
It was me, Louisa, and Saul.
Yeah, pretty much. You were still sort of left behind in the carriage, but had managed to work yourself out.
Saul,
my memory of him is very. I was a little overwhelmed and preoccupied with the child. But my memory was that he too had a very strange mouth. There was something not quite right about him either. It seems odd that there should be a similar deformity of the mouth in this photograph.
Louisa, is it similar to those that we saw at the morgue when you opened the bag?
A little bit, maybe. I don't know. If you'll remember, I excused myself rather rapidly.
Yeah.
When we were in the charnel house, and I can't quite recall. I think they looked more like dogs.
What on earth is this ghastly fellow up to? We must find him as soon as possible.
He's like something from a frightening story. There's mad doctor who's transforming people into animals.
But perhaps this thing with the mouth is some manner of rictus grin caused by the infection. Could that be it? That maybe it's something that's. I know there are diseases and infections that cause the lips to contract. Are there not, Virginia? And people may sometimes look like they're grinning.
Yes.
I can't demonstrate because I have a prodigious beard, which is unusual for a woman of my youthful years.
It adds character, Louisa. You're fine. But yes, what I
I
hear...
was thinking of getting it bleached.
Oh, that'll only make you look like an old woman. There's no reason to do that.
Well, it's hardly noticeable, really.
Let's finish off up here, and if not, let's go back to the graveyard. You know, I just have this terrible feeling that we're running short of time, and I kind of whisper to Virginia, for father's sake. Is there anything else around about here, this top floor, Jeff, that's of interest, room-wise or anything?
I think you probably have found what you're going to find.
The only thing else then would be to check and see if there's a door going down into a cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Which, now that you're saying that, you'd think you did pass a door under the stairs.
Under the stairs.
Oh,
where you
yeah.
expect it to be.
There may be a magical boy living in there, but let's go and see.
Yep, you guys traipse down the stairs all the way down to the first ground floor lobby. And there's a small wooden door underneath the stairs, and you open it, and it looks like a pantry. But there's lots of muddy footprints.
Aha!
And in fact, do a spot hidden. Just don't get a crit fail. Just one roll. Just one person roll. Samson.
Oh,
good.
Samson with the eyes.
I didn't get a crit fail.
Okay, that's fine. There's a blanket sort of thrown over the box, and but it's fairly obvious. There's a rather large hole in the floor.
What the deuce?
And there's like a little wooden ladder that's leading down.
You all stay up here.
No, father, we need to come with you. This looks dangerous.
Well, that's exactly why you should stay up above. If I call out, then go on without me.
Well, I'm good with fisticuffs, you know.
Well, I can see in the dark, so let me, well, first of all, let me get down my hands and knees and stick my face down there and see if I can see anything below.
Okay.
Before I go down the stairs.
This entire, the hole in the floor, the ladder, everything is sort of crudely built. This is not like your normal house design. Right. It's a small, cramped, dirty, basically a room/basement.
I don't see anything. Just take care, and I'm gonna go down the ladder carefully.
Okay, you get down to the floor. You're basically standing in a carved out London bluish clay room.
Okay. Any exits?
Yeah, there's another larger hole. Well, larger, I say larger. It's about maybe 3, maybe 4 feet in diameter. And it looks like it's leading into a tunnel going out, like towards the street.
Do I hear anything or smell anything?
Smells like dirt. Smells like earth.
There's a tunnel. There's a tunnel down here. I don't know where it leads. What should we do?
I think it leads to that blasted graveyard. Is it big enough to crawl through?
Yeah, you could crouch over.
Yes, but all right. If you're going to come with me.
Are we all coming, Father?
Well, unless you want to stay where you are, we need to find out what's going on here. This is some sort of connecting tunnel. Connecting to what? I want to find out.
Father, if you go first, maybe unsheath that sword of yours. I don't like this at all.
All right. Yeah, because when I fight the monster, I go clink like that. And I'm like, oh no, the tunnel. All right. I'll unsheath it this way, and I'll hold it pointing forward as I go. Is there any evidence of movement through here, like footprints or lack of cobwebs or?
The floor is wet and muddy.
Wet, muddy.
How far are we from the river?
So right now, you guys are right around this area here.
Between 5 and 7.
Yep. 5 is the church. So you're maybe 2 or 3 blocks away.
In Blackwall.
Yeah, in Blackwall.
And the tunnel is going towards the church?
It's kind of going away based on how the road is. Like you walked up the walkway to the house, so you're aware of the fact that you went down the ladder and now you're walking back towards the street.
I see. Okay. Now, Saul, what was your question? Is it going towards the river?
Louisa. Yeah, I think
Louisa,
she was.
that was your question, going towards the river?
I'll say no, it's not.
Okay. Now my bloody shoes are going to get ruined by this mud. Oh, as if I've never stepped in mud in London.
Yeah, right. A lot of the streets are muddy, aren't they? Give me a sense of. We don't have to necessarily overthink this, but I am curious because we're dealing with this sight and vision thing. So Samson, you can see in the dark, but the others can't, and vice versa. So once they get there with the lantern, it hurts your eyes, and then it sort of cuts down your vision.
Well, let's have Virginia with the lantern, or Virginia, you keep the lantern, but you bring up the rear.
I was going to say the same thing. Fantastic idea, Father. I was behind Saul, just holding on to his coattail, basically, with the lantern, about low to mid-light to keep your sight plenty up front, and yet keep ours safe in the back.
And let's also say that I hang about 30 feet forward of their position, so that I'm really more in the dark.
Okay.
And we know you've got your sword out, so
Right.
you've kind of got some protection.
I
anyway.
should be able to see something coming, as if I don't know how good the night vision is. Am I like looking at as if this were in the daylight, or?
Yeah, you might be overplaying it a little bit.
Maybe.
It's enhanced. It's
Right.
where in total blackness you could probably still see shapes, but not really much beyond that.
Yeah, there still has to be some light.
I mean, you've been to the eye doctors, right? You've had where they put the dye in.
Oh, sure.
It's like that. It's not like you just suddenly gain supervision, but
Right. But I should be able to see if something's coming down the tunnel at me.
yeah, especially with the lantern light from behind, that's going to light up so that you can see really well down. Yeah, so that'll work. Okay, good. Could I ask Samson, since you're leading, I'll let you roll first. Do a spot hidden.
49. My spot hidden is 60. Yes, so I passed.
Okay, and then just to be clear, Saul and Louisa, second and third place. Virginia, you're in last with the lantern. Saul, do you want second? Do you want to fight it out with Louisa?
You're muted.
I'm happy for anything, really. What do you want to do, Louisa? Do you want to be in front of me?
I think it would be incumbent upon your sense of gentlemanly decorum to provide a barrier between any potential threat and your wife and sister-in-law.
Okay, we'll go with that then.
It's a very nice and demure way of telling you that I have decided you will be cannon fodder.
Samson, you notice that the walls around you in this tunnel, there's all these like 3 and 4 digit marks in the walls. So it becomes clear to you that this is dug by hand, and in fact, literally, like finger marks in the clay wall.
That would take some doing, wouldn't it?
I think maybe as we begin to see some of those marks, I kind of shout ahead in a slightly hushed tone, "Father, do you still have your pistol?"
Yes. I just find it hard to believe that something dug this out with its hands and not with a shovel. But what are we dealing with here? I don't know. Look what this family has come to.
Scraping about in the mud.
You make your way down this tunnel to what you are aware of the fact that you're kind of probably underneath the main road, and you come to a T intersection. So the tunnel splits, it goes left and the right.
And is it still hand dug? It's not joining into any drainage or anything like that?
Yeah, now it's different. It looks like this may have been here for much, much longer.
Still dug clay or
still dug clay,
but drier and
harder. Yeah.
I think when we come to the junction, Saul goes up to Samson and says, "Perhaps, Father, should I take the pistol, or if you have the sword?"
I'll hand you the pistol. I say we have a problem now. And that is that we've got a T-junction here. Now something can come up behind us if we choose a direction.
So maybe you should come to the back and Father can continue in the front so that we move as a unit looking with protection both ways. Now that you have the pistol, we have the light back here with me. Father can see in the darkness up front. He has his sword, and we can move like a angry 2-headed caterpillar through this crazy hole with weapons at either side, and we'll be safe all the way to wherever we want to go, no matter what comes, because we are family.
Virginia, you are the epitome of a strategist.
8 hours, Saul, is all it took. Now I'm like a regular insert period correct reference here.
I just want you all to know how very, very proud I am of you all.
Good timing.
All right.
Louisa, could you do a spot hidden, please?
We're going to solve this mystery with family.
Nope.
No.
I have failed.
Let's go down the line. Virginia, since you have the lantern, spot hidden.
27 out of 50. So almost a hard.
Okay. You're sort of shifting the light around, trying to look down both directions to see if there's, a sign or something. And you notice kind of like around maybe like knee high, it looks like somebody has put an arrow in the clay. And it's pointing to the right.
Everyone, there seems to be an arrow pointing to the right in the clay, as if someone was marking so they wouldn't forget where to go. Look it.
You said that as if a voice was instructing you, my dear. Let's follow it.
Do we follow it? Who goes first? Is it going with Sal first now or me first, Saul? If we go in the direction of the arrow.
Yeah, that's getting too complicated. I'm just going to stick with you in the front.
Okay, I'm still in the front. I'll go.
We'll rotate the caterpillar.
I wonder the intelligence of a creature who needs an arrow at a T-junction to figure out which direction to go. One way or the other.
All right, you're pushing forward. You start making your way down this tunnel again, and it soon becomes clear. Every so often you see the remains, or not remains, but the actual London sewer system. So there's a grate just above you and to the right that leads up to the street. You go a little bit further down, and there's a manhole cover. So you've somehow tapped into the existing sewer tunnels of London.
I would say we're in the sewers.
Yeah, and what you're realizing, it's like a maze down here.
Rather stinky maze.
Yeah, Rick, you might know this too. Apparently, there's like literally thousands of miles of tunnels underground London.
Well,
can we look up through the grate and figure out where we are?
That works especially at the very beginning, because you kind of came here on a carriage and you were aware of where you were going and so forth. But the further you go in and the further you go, it starts to, there's that white house again, and there's that gray house. There's no real, you've not been here before, so it's not really an easy, you're getting all turned around and twisted.
I think we're in danger of getting lost. Why don't we, are there ladders that we can climb up to get out?
No, but could you all do well, no, let's not do all. Virginia, do another spot hidden.
It's almost as if you're counting on me to run out of good rolls. Make sure I'm rolling the right dice. It wasn't. I rolled the wrong one. There we go.
The right dice. Have you been rolling a D4 this entire time?
No.
D12.
No, I almost rolled a D8. Son of a gun. That's a 52. Was it a spot hidden?
Yeah.
Could I use 2 luck to bring that to a success? Or will
Yeah, that's no problem. Yep.
Okay. It's a 50 out of 50 then.
So what you're seeing is what you had just mentioned. Samson was, who would take the time to mark tunnels like this? Well, now you're seeing these arrows, and now you're aware of why, because it's literally like a maze down here.
There's more arrows, everyone.
Well, do we keep following the arrows then?
I would imagine that'd be the best thing to do. Otherwise, we'll be lost down here forever. We'll be floating around like the sewage of London.
Blast it. That's how that scoundrel escaped after he crashed into our cab. He disappeared.
He just down into the sewer and then just followed the arrows. All right. Well, let's continue to follow the arrows and see where this goes.
Okay. I'm going to try to send you a quick message, Tom. And yeah, so this is kind of taking time. You're proceeding cautious. Louisa, can you do a navigate roll? Or if anybody else has that skill, you could roll navigate.
I got 9 out of 10.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm going to say that's a good roll, I'm going to say. So you have a general bearing as to the directions you're going in, like a north, south, east, west. And you are aware of the fact that you do seem to be heading on a slightly downgrade, which means you're headed towards the main river, the Thames.
Oh, I see.
Father, you seem a bit...
I will appraise the others of this observation.
Okay.
Father, you seem like you've become a bit twitchy.
I'm sorry. It's just it's rather uncomfortable.
Are you in pain, Father?
Nothing to be concerned about.
Did it get worse as we move further along this direction?
Oh, I don't think it's that. I think it's just whatever this is it's affecting my I can't think of the word.
Hands?
Yes, hands. So, do you think we're getting lower then? We're heading towards an outlet to the river.
Or the body?
Well,
Sorry.
it does seem that way.
And just to remind you, it is filthy down here. You might see the occasional rat.
Were the bodies that were found, Jeff, at the tunnel or in the river?
The bodies that were found were in the river.
So really, people can be, these people or creatures or whatever they are, could be just letting the bodies go through these tunnels. This is quite worrying.
Was the church the other... Isn't the church the other way, away from the river? Or have I gotten disoriented here?
I think the church is over there.
Let's see if we can get a little bit of an orientation by taking a peek out. And I'm going to... how high is the grade above us? Just above us?
It varies. At some points, they're, the tunnels are sort of a consistent grade almost,
Right.
because they have to keep up the water flow and the sewage flow. But the land above you changes. So some of them are quite high up. Some of them are not too high up.
Okay. Well,
probably with a boost from Saul, you could probably boost yourself up to a manhole. There might be rungs in the wall going up to a manhole.
well, give me a boost.
Mm-hmm.
I'll climb up, and I put my hand on the manhole and just push it over to the side. Take a look out.
Do a luck roll.
What is my luck? 57, and my luck is 58. So,
Okay.
by 1 point, I make it.
You just barely missed the wheel of a carriage that just ran by you.
It's like I didn't grab that wheel and break it.
You stick your head out. Do you have navigate? If not, I'll let you roll a knowledge, but it's going to have to be a hard.
I don't have navigate. Where's navigate? Oh, I do have navigate. I've got 30 in navigate. I got a 30.
All right. Yeah, you recognize
30.
you recognize the location of the area. You are getting closer to the river, definitely.
Yes, we're definitely getting close to the river. I think this is Plimpton Street. Damn bright up there. And I grab a hold of the manhole cover and lift it and put it right back onto the thing. And,
Aren't those incredibly heavy?
I hop down.
As in made of iron or something?
Wasn't that heavy?
Father? You're becoming quite peculiar.
Wasn't that heavy?
Got my eye on you, Father. You feeling well? Obviously, you're feeling your strength is good.
Feeling some pain in my extremities. It's bearable, though. And this damned bubbling under my skin.
Has it gotten worse? Oh, I thinking that it's gotten worse? It has gotten worse, Father. We've got to hurry now. It's advancing.
Indeed.
As you push on, the time's sort of slipping away. It's hard to keep track of time down here. You're following the arrows. You eventually get to a point where there's another arrow pointing to the right, and it looks like the main tunnel continues on, and the arrow is, let's say it wouldn't be pointing to the right because it wouldn't be anything there, but it's like pointing up, and to your right is another opening similar to the same hand-clawed dugout marks around from the basement that you entered.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go through.
Okay.
So let me see if I'm understanding this. We went through a hand-dug tunnel that opened up into the already existing sewer system, and now we've gotten to a place in the sewer system where there's a hole going into another hand-dug tunnel.
Right.
Okay.
And just to be clear, in between there was a whole bunch of left, rights, but you were following the arrows, so you...
It's the old sewer system going along.
Yep.
All right. So they're using the sewer system as part of a traveling, but they're digging tunnels to wherever they want to go. Yeah. All right.
And I'll just, I won't make you roll for this, but I'll just point out the fact that should your light source go out, it's going to be real hard to see those arrows.
Yeah.
Virginia. Looking at you, Virginia.
I lowered it down to where it wasn't super bright. We're very much on a fuel conservation unit. We're rationing our light.
I'll hold on to my coattails, and I would lead you out. All right, so we're in now. We're going to go into the tunnel.
Yep. So now you're into this smaller hand dug tunnel. You're crouched over. You're walking a little bit further, and it's maybe about like 50 feet or so. And you come to T intersection, but this time instead of going left and right, it goes up and down. So there's a ladder going up and a ladder going down.
I think that we need to get out of here. So let's go up the ladder.
I agree, Father. You probably need to go first in case there's a giant thing up there that needs to be scooted out of the way.
Of course. So I go up the ladder rather effortlessly.
Yep. And it looks like there's a wooden door, like a trap door kind of thing, right above you.
I'm going to put my hand on it very carefully and lift and take a peek.
Do a strength roll.
I passed.
That wasn't subtle, was it? Yeah, it's you hear like a clank of what sounds like heavy iron tools, like hammers and chisels and things like that.
I think that we're in the... That was perfect timing.
That was awesome.
That wasn't planned.
No.
I would have sworn it was planned.
I think that we might be in the tunnel construction.
It looks like a small wooden storage room. So like there's tools,
But I can hear the clanking of...
well, it is nighttime, so I'm not sure if they would actually be working at night.
Oh, okay. Well, you said I hear some clanking.
That was from when you opened the trap door.
I moved it and I hit the tools and knocked them.
It was as something heavy was on top of the trap door.
Ah, okay. So I get it to where it slides over and I push it. And I'm like, it's a storage shed of some sort. And I pull myself up into the storage shed. Come on. And I put my hand down. Who's right behind me?
I think that would be Saul.
Okay. So I put my hand and I grab a hold of Saul.
Okay.
Can we do a lock roll there?
I won't be that cruel.
Okay. I've got quite a grip.
It is a small shed though, so I'm not sure all of you would fit in there all at one time.
Well, I just need him to come up, and then we can see if we can if we can get the door open.
Okay. Yeah, it would be locked. Nighttime. Yep, it would be locked. But you're on the inside, so there's probably a chain and a padlock on the outside.
Well, I'll try the door and see if it opens up a little bit, and I can see a chain.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a chain and a padlock.
Father, weren't there heavy tools that you just knocked off the door? Just whack the fool.
She's a smart one.
Get a chisel and a hammer.
Yeah, maybe wedge something in between the rings of chain and see if we can twist it off.
Yeah, sure. You put some elbow grease into it and clink, chain breaks apart. And yeah, you have exited into the construction site of the tunnel system. So you're not in the tunnel necessarily, you're still outside of the main tunnel system.
Well, we've come up into the construction area. Everybody come up. Saul, you better help them.
Yeah, I get the girls out.
Is there any illumination, or is it still only by my lantern?
I think so, yeah. It would be nighttime on a construction site, so I'm guessing they probably are not working.
Right.
Do we still need the lantern, or can I turn it off to conserve fuel?
Yeah. You can turn it off.
Okay. And I'm looking around just to see if I see any people. Like a night.
Like out on the main road, you could probably see people walking about, but the construction site's mostly empty.
Okay. I think we can get out here. Now the question being, who is it that works here that also goes down into the tunnel to the doctor's house via the subway?
Perhaps this bit of the tunnel is just for sewer workers.
Maybe. But why do they go to the doctor's house? There is quite literally a connection between the doctor and what's going on here with them digging the tunnel.
How far away is the church from where we're at right now?
Oh.
Well, now we would kind of know where we were since we're...
Yeah, maybe a mile, maybe 2 miles.
Wow, we went 2 miles underground.
I think we should make our way back to the church.
Back to the church. All right.
At least we know where we're going, and we're not as filthy on the street.
I'd feel a lot safer going there above ground, that's for sure.
Indeed. That was quite an adventure. I rather enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you holding up, Mother? You okay? Are you still with us?
I'm fine.
Can I ask...
Tired.
Let me ask Saul for a knowledge roll.
Fail.
Dang it. Okay, so be it. Where are you headed? Back to the church?
Why are we going to the church? We're trying to find the tunnels once again at the church.
But I'm thinking maybe as soon as we left, we may have just missed Dr. Breach. That's not his name.
Graves?
Hang on. Graves.
Now, what was the story about the tunnels? Sure. What was going on at the tunnels now, remember? At the beginning?
The chap in the graveyard said that there were things with the faces of dogs.
That lived underground.
No, but earlier on, I think there was there not a story to do with the tunnels either in the newspaper or at the police station?
Oh, people going missing. Were they not deaths?
There was deaths. That's what it was. Deaths in the tunnels. The tunnel.
And the people who are in charge of the tunnel construction said that it was none of their people. Their people were all accounted for. So either they're lying,
Or people have been carried through these tunnels that we've been in and have been left in this area.
Or perhaps if there are these tunnels, perhaps the tunnel they're digging has simply intersected some of these tunnels. Or perhaps it just passed under a graveyard and they dropped out like root vegetables.
Do you guys want me to read the newspaper article again, or?
Yeah, if you've got it.
Yes, please.
All right, somebody's got to give me a pass for a knowledge roll. I'm not going to just hand it to you.
I'll take
a remembrance roll.
Let's waste some more of those O2s again.
Well, I failed that.
Okay.
I passed my intelligence.
Okay, that's good. More bodies found near the tunnel site. More bodies of young laborers are being discovered just downstream of the Blackwall Tunnel construction site. S. Pearson & Sons, the American company the City of London has contracted to construct the tunnel, maintains that none of the laborers are their own. When asked for comment, contracting agent Ernest William Moore of New York said, "None of these men have been under my employ on this project. We maintain strict logs of anyone entering our premises or our new airlock, which, as you know, prevents the onset of Caisson's disease, which we are learning is related to," and then it just continues on.
Could it be that there is another tunnel? I mean, if they're labourers who've died in some sort of tunnelling accident, but they're denying that they're labourers who work on their tunnel, could they perhaps be labourers working on another tunnel
for somebody else?
Perhaps an unofficial tunnel. You know, there was, I read that there was a chap in, I think it was in Liverpool, who set about building all manner of tunnels under his home just to keep the locals employed. That may not have happened yet, but it has.
And some of them were regular people, and some of them were these dog fellows. You're right. What if it was people don't know what they're doing with digging tunnels. What if a tunnel collapsed? That's where these others came from, as you say. Louisa, you're a genius. And we've been in those tunnels, at least partly now.
But we've still not seen any sign of this doctor.
Father, when we came to the T, we just came straight up. That T also went down. Right before we popped into this tool shed, there was an up ladder, but there was also a down.
Yes, we don't know how deep it goes. How deep is the rabbit hole?
It was pretty deep.
I would assume it goes pretty deep.
Well, family, do we continue what may be a folly, a bad idea of exploring this? Or do we go to the church and explore there more? I'm not sure what we're looking for at the church. If we go there, are we looking for more access?
Yeah, I think to see if it joins up.
Well, an indication of where perhaps these tunnels are supposed to be going. I mean, they must lead somewhere. But you would think that if they enter the sewer system, they would leave the sewer system again to get to the church. I don't think that the City of London municipal authorities are in the habit of constructing sewers that run into the catacombs of churches as a matter of course, after all.
You say catacombs. Do you think the church has catacombs? Oh, what's his name say they did?
Crypt. The crypt was the word I think I was thinking of there.
We might have to break into the church.
Oh no! It seemed an easy matter when we were at the graveyard earlier. That gentleman seemed only too willing to permit us egress into the vaults.
What if the church is only their meeting place?
You think they may be a religious order?
Not meeting place like Sunday go to meeting, not that kind of meeting, but more of maybe the deep down hole would drop us into a nest of some sort, but they travel to the church almost like a takeaway. They go and they get their meals and they bring it back home. But the only place where the two worlds would actually meet would be in this church.
So, yea, even those who dwelleth in the house of the Lord by night.
The night dwelleth, sirs.
What, Virginia? What is a takeaway?
It's dead bodies that the doctor is gaining from the keeper, the groundskeeper.
Oh, like a carry-out.
He's
very similar.
Feeding them.
Grave robbing, you mean?
And then they drag them all the way back to their dining room, deep within the earth.
But why would they need to drag them back from anywhere if they live under a graveyard? Surely that's where the bodies are. That they would just be at the vaults and so forth.
Maybe they've polished all that off already.
It could be, and what with them, but now taking bodies out of the city on this newfangled necropolis railway down at Waterloo.
Well, think about it. They're not going to bring the whole family.
Far afield.
I don't know. What do we do next? We follow. I'll do whatever you say, Saul.
Well, we either go to the church to see if there's a connection there, or we go down that deep hole again. But we were concerned about the lantern. I think we go to the church. I think it may be safer.
Let's go to the church. Let's find the crypts. Let's see if they connect.
If we don't,
also try and find some paraffin for the lantern.
Yes, we can find some.
Good idea.
I was going to look around real quick in the tool shed and see if there was any fuel for the lantern. While we're here in this construction zone, you'd think this would be as good a place as any to find extra fuel.
Do you mean steal it, my dear?
I mean borrow it, Saul. Goodness, how terrible of a path do you think I've decided to walk down?
I think we've all walked down this path now, and there's no walking back.
We're basically holding hands and skipping our way to hell, aren't we?
I must admit, I find this new Virginia fascinating.
Well, I will just leave that to their imagination.
The day after Valentine's Day.
I'm wondering if at some point my voice is going to start getting like this.
Virginia, do a luck roll.
52 out of 50. No, oops, excuse me, 52 out of 48. I failed.
All right, I'll be nice. The rest of you can do a luck roll too. Mick, can you confirm would the miners back then have some sort of lighting, like a miner's lamp sort of thing?
I think they just had a bullseye lantern.
Bullseye lantern, okay.
Back then, it was a miner's lamp. There's a name for it, isn't it? It's
Did they not have a little candle with a?
There was a thing, but there was a thing for dealing with. There was something that was specifically made for mines.
A focused beam lantern.
It was made for mines where there was a danger of explosive vapors.
That's what I was
think it began with a C.
Didn't you tell me there was like a chemical, magnesium or something?
The water dripped on it.
There's carbide lamp,
Carbide, that's what I was thinking of.
which is like a acetylene. It drips it onto the thing.
Okay.
It drips water onto it, and it releases fumes, I think.
I passed my luck if nobody else did.
Okay. Well, you know what? We might be getting too far into the weeds. Then. So, what sort of lighting?
Yes, carbide lamps or acetylene gas lamps. There you are.
Okay.
A reaction of calcium carbide with water.
Here we go.
That's what I was thinking of.
That's what I was thinking of.
But they've got a name.
Are they on the hats?
Named
So we can all
after
wear
the
hats?
man who developed them. They were also used as the lights on Ford Model Ts.
So, would you like one of those?
Yes to anything.
Okay.
And they're still used by some caving people because they're actually they just
Cool.
like them. Yeah, they're just cool. They just like them.
All right. So you managed to get a second source of light, although, am I correct in understanding this? You're headed back to the church, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
That's the megaphone version.
Exterminate.
All right. Are you guys? I shouldn't need to ask this, but I'm just curious. Are you going back to the church the way you came through the sewers?
I'd rather stay above ground.
Yeah,
Okay.
stay above ground.
Just checking. Just wanted to make sure because you guys
Although
do stink.
that starlight is bright.
But before we head out, family, if we go to the church, is that just going to lead us back to these tunnels?
Possibly, but I think we'll recognize the tunnels.
Mm.
I mean, in that they'll be constructed in the same sort of way, dug through the ground.
Yes, well, let's make haste then. And if that's the case, but we can always come back here to the shed and go down the lower tunnel.
We know where it is.
Now we've got the fuel.
All right.
Okay. Carry
maybe-
throughout again.
Yeah, maybe the guy looks at us rather strangely as we all squelch along. I give him a couple of extra shillings for his goodwill.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you guys do kind of smell a little bit after walking around down there. You're dirty. Shoes are all filthy. But yep, he manages to get back in the carriage. You guys wind up back at the church. It's dark. It's a graveyard.
So are we going to try to find the gameskeeper or the groundskeeper?
Okay. I won't make you roll. There's a small little house / cabin shack in the back, and there's a little light on, so he's probably there.
I say to Virginia, watch this. And I creep up to maybe the window and I start going, ooh.
That's my soul. Always
You scare the bejesus out of him because he's been having a few drinks because he's had a rough day. He had a gun pointed at him earlier today.
That was the plan, to try and, traumatize him so he'll just help us in any way he can.
Yeah.
And what was his name?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Yes, God. Yes, God. I'm sorry.
Now is your time.
He opens the door and sees all of you and your smelly clothes and ragged.
Access to the crypts.
Show us how to get underground here.
He just shakes his head like he's been expecting you. He says, follow me.
Have you seen the doctor tonight since we've left?
I have not.
Very well.
And he looks over his shoulder like he could be there any minute.
Would you like to join us, Bartholomew, on our quest as cannon fodder? I mean, as one of the team.
No. That's a hard no. So he grabs another lantern. Did you bring your lantern with you, I assume?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Did we find additional fuel for it?
Bartholomew, do you have a lantern fuel?
Do a luck roll, Virginia.
Get it this time.
99.
That's not the worst you could have rolled.
That's not lantern fuel, Virginia, you silly ass. That's a cake. You've brought the wrong tin. It's I think it's a Jamaican ginger cake.
That's a different kind of fuel.
Yes.
Let's proceed.
All right.
He brings his own, he has his own little lantern. So he brings that with him and he says, follow me. He leads you into the church and, I keep trying to set the mood here. It's dark and creepy. So he takes you to the door to the basement and he opens the door. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Same marching order then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes, the caterpillar thing.
The caterpillar order. Yep. You guys start heading down the stairway. It's quiet, super quiet. A little bit of a smell down here. Mostly just old and musty, dirty smell. And then suddenly behind you, you hear a door slam.
Okay.
He's locked us in. The scoundrel, the bounder.
He thinks he has. Let's go downstairs and see if there's anything down here.
All right. You make your way down and you are greeted by the catacombs.
Uh-huh.
So kind of a gruesome sight. If you think you might be weirded out by a bunch of skull and bones and coffins and creepy church basement, I'll ask for a sanity roll, but I won't make you.
Does it look like a restaurant to me?
Virginia,
Just take away.
do you dig graves?
They're pretty. They don't fascinate me or anything.
Oh, I
Or do you
think
mean
they're
the actual
marvelous.
action of digging them, or do I just like them dig?
I'd already finished that bit. Left in the assumption.
All right.
And I kind of ruined the flow there, didn't I?
It may have been me. I messed up your timing.
Yeah, Saul's a little bit creeped out with the skulls and everything. And
Okay.
getting the door slammed on us.
Yep. A couple things. You notice that the first sort of there's like little tags and names for the bodies and stuff, so forth. And the some of them have dates and so forth. So the first ones you come to are dated around 1805. And the further you go back down this long, basically hallway, the further you go, the earlier the dates get. So you start seeing dates like 1792, 1746, 1656, 1541. Does anybody have history?
Yes.
You can roll a history roll.
Yes, I do. Ooh,
Nope.
I have passed.
Okay, nice. I also sent you a message there, Tom. I don't know if you saw that. Louisa, you remember from your studies that the church that you're in was built around the 1640s. So the fact that you're seeing dates going all the way back to 1541 The catacombs probably predated the church.
Ooh.
These catacombs are older than the church, you know.
Ancient Roman catacombs.
No, they're 16th century, and the church is 17th century. But
Older
and
church.
it's not a particularly noteworthy church. It's not a Hawksmoor or anything.
Eventually, you come to a dead end.
Was it like a brick top dead end? Stone?
Yep.
Are
Exactly
these
what one would expect in a catacombs, isn't it? A dead end.
Are these slabs with bodies on them, or are they graves, sarcophagi?
I think it's, from the pictures I've seen, and I could be wrong here, it's kind of like remember when we did the Horror on the Orient Express with the catacombs there, where the skulls were pretty much out on shelves?
Oh, okay.
You know,
Exposed.
So there are bones. There are piles of bones.
Yep.
There are shelves that they put
Yep.
the bodies on.
And at the same time, I'll say, like, probably in the newer ones, they might still actually be coffins. But the further back you go, it's almost just like stacks of bones.
I'm wondering if there's any sign of any of this area that's been disturbed. In other words, it's hiding a passage or hiding a door.
Do a spot hidden, and I'll give you a bonus.
Best roll was 16.
Nice. You, in fact, do see that there are footprints on the floor in the dust,
Mm-hmm.
and they disappear into the wall at the end of the tunnel.
That's the plot. That's the spot right there.
Here, Samson, I'm still carrying that chisel from earlier. Who's that?
I grab a hold of the wall, or I try to push on it. I try to pull on it. Does it look like it would slide, or?
I'll give you a bonus spot hidden. The other three can do a regular spot hidden.
40. Well, what is my spot?
Failed.
Yes, 40 points out of 60.
Okay, nice. So yeah, you guys kind of spread out a little bit. You're looking, and Samson, you see that on the shelves there's a skull, and if you just push the skull aside a little bit, it looks like there's a small lever or trigger. Yep, latch.
So I push that away and I pull the.
Yep. And you hear something click in the wall, and it just slowly starts to open.
So
Help it.
So ready your pistol just in case something pops out. All right.
There are there is, yes, a small set of stairs leading down.
Here we go. So I'm going to take a few steps down.
Okay, same marching order.
I light the lantern back up.
Right, yeah, I assumed you did that. You get down to the bottom of the stairs, and it opens up into kind of like a small, looks almost like a room. And I'll ask you again, Mick, are you familiar with the term a Roman Londinium?
Londinium, the old city.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate, or should I just?
Well, the Roman settlement of Londinium was the original city that was formed by the Romans on the banks of the River Thames. Although myth says that it was established by Brutus, who overcame two great giants in order to establish it.
Are we basically seeing an old part of the ancient city that's, cities are built on the rubble?
Right, yep. So that's what it kind of like. You come down these little sets of stairs, sort of opens up into this room, and it looks like an old hearth almost, set up on the side, and there's another opening in like a doorway, and then another set of stairs leading down even further.
Any sign of life?
Do a listen roll.
No.
Okay. Anybody who wants to do a spot hidden, they can.
Passed, almost a hard.
Okay.
A 4, which is extreme.
All right. Samson and Virginia, you noticed that the hearth has some what look like semi-fresh ashes, as if somebody had a fire going in here.
Is it still warm?
No, not that fresh. Virginia, you had a good roll.
I had a 4.
4.
Extreme success on that.
It's in the ashes, but it looks like you're seeing like finger bones.
Are they big hand-sized bones? Are like manly grown hand-sized bones, or more like the hands of a baby?
Manly size.
Family, I fear that they've been burning bodies here. There seems to be a adult hand bone in the fire ashes.
Well,
How revolting.
we are down here underneath the city in the graveyard, so
I'm going to ask for a sanity roll for that one.
All of us.
I've seemed to have failed that.
I failed.
I got a 5.
I have failed. I got a 94.
1d4 for human cooking. 0 for pass.
Did we not see a book about this very topic?
Cannibalism.
Yes, anthropophagy. 3 points I just lost. 3.
Saul's feeling rather disturbed.
3.
I also lost 3.
And I haven't even got the decency to have a rubber with a sharpened end on the pencil. On the same pencil, I have to use 2 separate pencils. One with a rubber, one with a sharpened point to do this. Oh,
Louisa is losing it, Virginia. She's losing it.
Humanity of it. And why? Because I've used up all my pencils making religion.
Louisa, do you need a hand?
Huh. Give her the finger.
2 strikes.
I'll take the finger.
And I had just worked up to a good mood there with sanity loss, but that's okay. What are you guys doing?
We must press on.
Press on.
I sent you some text.
That was fresh ashes. They were cooking humans as if to consume, and they're fresh.
Hush, Virginia. You're making me disturbed.
We know that they've been getting bodies. So are we surprised?
But let's remember what we're here for. It's for the baby. And we haven't seen anything that says that baby's been harmed, which means she could still be okay. So we've got to keep on.
Yes.
The whole reason we're here. But mostly, let's press on.
Okay. You guys press on. Virginia, Saul, and Louisa, could you do a spot hidden? I'm looking for a hard or an extreme.
Oh, I got a 1. My first decent roll of the entire night.
What are you saying, Louisa? What are you saying?
I'm going to message you this, actually. And then you can, if you choose to share it, you can.
Now, hang on. Let me...
That's very disturbing. Very disturbing, Louisa.
Disturbing me. I've just got the light from the webcam. It's just blinding me now. Turn into Patrick Moore.
Excuse the typo.
Father, are you feeling peckish? Are you feeling hungry?
Bloody thing. Hang on. My eye was going to come out with that.
Please tell me that that's his finger and not the finger out of the ashes. Father,
did you just do what I just what I think I saw you do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why did you just put that in your pocket?
What are you talking about?
Just then. Why did you
Put what in his pocket?
one of the finger buttons? Why are you denying that you did it?
I don't know where this came from. Throw it on the ground.
I'm going to look to Virginia and then to my mother in turn with a look of concern.
we should probably get moving.
Yes.
Yes. Perhaps we should move farther in the direction of the master in lunacy.
Yes.
Am I picking up on a possible another sanity roll?
Yes. I'm going to make one. I've passed it. I'm made of stern.
Is that another D4? For
No.
those of us who ever used every one of our passing rolls already.
1 or a 2.
See, I saved my luck up for this bit of the game.
The 1.
So yeah, that's okay. Moving forward.
Altar of Jupiter behind me. Dispensing luck.
Samson, you're taking the lead again?
Yes.
Okay. I just noticed. You start heading down the stairs. And can I ask you for a listen roll?
Everybody?
Just spin for the moment.
Oh, no. And it's gone. There it is. My listen is 40, and I got 34.
So it's almost happens simultaneously. You're starting to head down the steps. Your family's behind you. You both hear and see at the foot of the steps what looks like movement. Something is hunched over. It looks like pale white skin of someone's bony backbone is facing you. Meaning his back is facing you. He's not. He's looking away.
I've got my sword out.
As a cane or as a sword?
As a sword.
Okay.
So there might have been a
I think that would be a good clue to the other 3 then. They would hear that, I'm sure. At this point then, let's say Virginia saw and Louisa, you could do a listen roll first.
Oh, good roll. 14. It's a pass.
97. What
Pass.
happened?
So, Virginia, you hear your father draw his sword cane, but Saul and Louisa, you hear, sounds like somebody's eating chicken wings.
Oh, and he's not sharing.
You're not alone down here.
Mind
We'll end
you,
it there.
I haven't defrosted Lug's dinner for tomorrow.
How rude.
We'll end it there.
Oh, just before the chicken wings? I'm going to ask David if we can go out for chicken wings.
Yeah, I don't know how much higher I can roll on these dice. It went all the way the other way.
Our players included Mick Swan, John Byram, Ken Trench, and myself with Jeff Wilkins as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the shows are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.